Hello and welcome to Edupedia World. So now we have done a bit of animation on this box, but let's try and make it a little bit more advanced. So what I mean by that is by using all these different options. So let's just first try and play with the opacity. So you can see the opacity changes how transparent it is, how opaque it is. So let's just first have the box fade in. So we can do that by changing the opacity. So this keyframe, if you double click it, it says the opacity has to be at 100. 100% opacity means that it's completely solid. There's no transparency. If we're now at 0, we have moved the keyframe that says 100 to this position. If we then move this to 0, then you see we have two keyframes, one that says no opacity, one that says 100 opacity. And if we play this, the box fades in. We can change the speed of the fade in, and we can also make it easy ease, so it will fade in a bit nicer. And there we have it. The box fades in, and then let's just try and do something fun. So let's play with the scale. The scale sets the scale to 100%, or just the same as it is. Remember, every time you start the keyframe, the stopwatch, it will just keep the position or the anchor point or whatever it is that it already had, and set that as the first keyframe. So that's just nice to know. Let's just try and scale it up and decrease the scale to 100 again. If we preview this, you see our box fades in and then quickly gets a bit larger. I want to move this closer to the fade in and then make it a bit quicker, so hold Alt and just press them together. Bam, there we go. Now let's try and make the box rotate. So we will enable the animation for rotation, and I will make it rotate this much. So that means let's see, let's put this to 0. So 90, what will that do? Just rotate it 90 degrees, and then want it to end like this. Is that 145? No, that's too much. 137.5. Is that perfect? No, as you can see, it's off. We want it to be like a diamond, you know. Yep, this is the value we want. We want to put it at 135. Yeah, that's of course 90 plus 45. 90 degrees plus 45 degrees, and so this is the you can see I put the first keyframe to be this. I want to put the keyframe before it to 0, and that way it will rotate to that position. So let's just goes into this position. I want this to be easy ease, so let's just highlight them and press F9, and it just quickly rotates. We can maybe make it rotate back to let's say 90. There we go. I may want to make this just a normal keyframe again. So you can't just go back, you have to go in and create a new keyframe yourself. Oh, sorry, can I do that? No. This looks fine in my opinion. It rotates and then rotates back. And then let's try and do something fun. So the thing is, we have this this little point here in the middle of the box. It's called the anchor point. The anchor point is like this solid's origin. So if I change the position, the anchor point, it will look like I changed the position, but I'm actually changing the anchor point position. Yeah, it's a bit weird to understand, but yeah. Now we want to try and make some crazy rotations. So let's change the anchor point. Oh, sorry, and start the animation and the position animation. And you can see that didn't do anything. But what we want to do now is use the pan behind tool, which is this one. We want to take this and then just drag it off somewhere. So as you can see, when we used the pan behind tool, that did not do anything, and that is because when we used the pan behind tool, we made the anchor point and the position move relatively to each other. Okay, just know that they moved relatively to each other. That did not do anything. We can even put these close to each other, or actually right next to each other, because that doesn't do anything for the animation. But what it has done is that it has offset the anchor point. I will actually go back to this, yeah, and put it right here. And then if we change the rotation, I'll just put another keyframe that says 90 here, and then if we change the rotation, you can see it will rotate around our new anchor point, and that is what I think is the exciting part. So let's try and change the rotation to 90 here, and that means it will do a whole loop and then come back. Let's just preview this. That was very quick. Actually too quick, so let's move this out, and there we go, it moves nicely around. Now let's have it change the we want to change the anchor point again, so we can do the same rotation but to the other side. So let's repeat the anchor point position keyframes, and then go to the next frame by doing Control and then using the arrow keys to the right, and then we can actually move this keyframe. Yeah, what we have done is that you can see we move the anchor point to the other side, and now we can change the rotation again, but around a new position. So let's put this at maybe 270, and then put one in over here. That means it will do a whole circle at plus 270. So this may look a bit weird. Let's just take a look. Bam, and there we go. So here we have it move one rotation, and then over here we'll have it move Okay, so it only moves 180 because at this position keyframe it is already at 1 rotation and 90, and over here it says it has to be 1 rotation and 270, and that's because it only moves 180. That's why it only moves 180. If we add this to 2, it will do a whole rotation as we wanted it to be. Let's just give it a bit more time, and there's our animation. It actually looks pretty damn cool. Now let's make it so that the box moves back into the middle of this of the screen, and then scales up, scales down while it fades out. Also does some rotation. So for that we want the anchor point to be in the middle again, so that we can rotate around this box middle. We want to move the position back. So right now it has this position keyframe. Let's go over here and then change this to somewhere around the middle, and also change the anchor point to 125, because that is what the anchor point were in the beginning. Over here you can see in the beginning it's 125, and then we also want that in the end, but we also want the position to be the same as it were over here. So let's just copy this, go over here, paste it, and that way it will be in the middle again. There we go. We may want to give this some time, and we may maybe also want to make this all easy ease. Maybe that screwed up the animation. We will see. No, it didn't. It only made it look very cool. We can also make these easy ease. When you add easy ease, you also always want to preview animation. You preview your animation, because sometimes it messes it up, and then you want to be able to undo. But in this case, it made it look very nice. So the position goes back to the middle, and then I will add a keyframe for the rotation. Move. Oh, sorry. That was the opacity. The rotation, move a bit, and maybe give it one more rotation. So here we go. It'll rotate 360 degrees, and while it does this, I want it to scale up a bit, and then scale down to 0. So how does this look? Scales up. Maybe it has to scale up a bit more. Let's just preview this. We may have to change the timing a bit. Yep. And also, as you can see, I didn't set this keyframe that it has right here. I have to change this, or I have to copy this keyframe and put it right before over here, because otherwise the position will, the scale will change over this whole time. I only want it for this little amount of time. So bam, it gets larger and smaller. That is much better. Bam. I think the rotation is a bit too much, so I will just make it only do 180 degrees. Let's just take a look once again. Bam. And this actually looks very nice. It scales up while it rotates, and then scales to 0. When it scales up, I want to add a opacity keyframe, and then here in the end I want to put this to 0, and that means it will fade out as it goes. There we go. And let's just change this, trim the composition, trim the work area, and here's our final animation. Bam, there we go. This actually looks pretty nice in my opinion. We can quickly export this. So export, add to render queue. I will change the format to QuickTime, hit OK, and output to animation. That's alright. Save, render, and as you can see, it's very quick. There we go. And it has now rendered this out to this file we have here called animation. And here's our finished animation. We can now publish it on YouTube or wherever we want. Yeah, maybe we want to make it a bit more advanced before we share it with the whole world, but this is actually not too simple. It has some pretty cool techniques here where we change the anchor point. Yeah, so this is very cool. Thank you for watching this part of chapter 4 where we talk about animation. Please watch the rest of the videos because there's a lot more to learn about animation. So thank you for watching.